Assalamualaikum and welcome to our panelists, Cik Maizura Muhammad Isa and Encik Husni Nizam Hussein. Thank you for your support and your attendance. Let me introduce you our team member. I am Nurul Aizat Izzati binti Rendri.
My name is Anisha Tira binti Saharzam.
My name is Nur Ifa binti Muhammad Hazali.
I am Daniel Aiman bin Ismail.
I am Muhammad Rakim bin Musa.
We are here to presenting to you regarding to the financial analysis, risk analysis and technical analysis. So without any further, let us begin.
Now I will be explaining the analysis of balance sheet, which has two components, asset structure and financial structure. Firstly, I will explain the asset structure. There are three components to be analyzed in asset structure, which are non-current assets, current assets, and total assets. According from the date for the asset structure of Franken Corporation Berhad for the year 2017 until 2019 in this chart, 2017 recorded the highest total non-current asset compared to 2018 and 2019. However, the gap is not that large compared to the amount in 2018 and 2019. The reason why non-current asset in this year is the highest because Franken relied more on long-term than short-term. Meanwhile, in 2018, Franken has also remained the same as 2018 figure but has increased a bit in total of current asset and total asset. However, the Franken reported a surprising growth in their assets in 2019. Total assets in this year has risen significantly compared to the total assets in 2017 and 2018. In addition, Franken has recorded the largest total of current assets, which was the highest total asset in the same year, in 2019. The growth current assets is due to the fact that Franken has large amount cash and bank balances compared to previous 2 years. Next, I will be explaining the financial structure. There are two components to be compared on the financial structure, which are to compare equities and liabilities of the company's balance sheet. Regarding to the figure above, the bar chart illustrates the equities and liabilities from 2017 until 2019 for Franken Corporation Berhad with the comparison of equities and liabilities for 3 years. Besides that, the equity and liability for 2017 were 135,845,134 million ringgit and 11763,399 million ringgit, which was the worst year than 2018 and 2019. This is due to Franken loses money during the normal course of business and needed to move equity into normal business operations. Therefore, for the year 2018, the equity was 143,591,550 million ringgit, which was increased for 7746,416 million ringgit, and the liability slightly decreased, which dropped by 56,763 ringgit. Finally, for 2019, it can be seen that this year had the best performed year out of the two previous years. The equity increased at 148,000,385 million ringgit and liabilities dramatically decreased. The main factor was because of the raise by the issue price of the shares due to Franken issued shares of common preferred stock. In this year, Franken Corporation Berhad was able to pay back what it owes to the suppliers and creditors. This is proved that Franken Corporation Berhad improved in equities and liabilities in each years from 2017 until 2019.
Now, we move to another point, which is vertical analysis of Franken Corporation Berhad from 2015 until 2019. Vertical analysis consists of four main ratios, which is liquidity, activity, leverage, and profitability ratio. Now, I will be explaining about liquidity ratio. Liquidity is divided by three ratios. The first one is current ratio, which on figure 3.1. Even though Frankens experienced fluctuation during the period, but the current ratio of Frankens was steadily maintained by more than the current ratio average. Next, quick ratio of Franken shows a great performance due to the ratios will exceed more than 1 ringgit each year. Lastly, for net working capital, as you can see in the figure 3.2, Franken shows excellent performance due to the all of the years were positive. After that, activity or asset management ratios is divided by four ratios. Firstly, based on the figure 3.3, it shows the inventory turnover of Franken. The inventory turnover of Franken did not show a good performance because it kept decreasing in the year of 2015 until 2017. Even though the ratio for 2018 increased, but the increase was not a significant increase as it only rose 0.4 times and did not exceed the ratio of 2015. Moreover, the ratio was dropped again in 2019 to 12.7 times. In addition, the fixed asset turnover. In 2019, the fixed asset turnover of Franken Corporation Berhad will manage to gain RM 1.87 for RM 1 ringgit investment in its fixed asset, as it was the highest ratio compared to the 5 years. Besides that, which is total asset turnover, the total asset turnover of Franken Corporation Berhad was less productive. This is because all of the ratio was less than RM 1 ringgit investment in its overall asset. Lastly, referring to the figure 3.4 above, it shows the average collection period of Franken. Franken was able to collect the payment faster than any other years. Now, we're moving on to the next slide, which is leverage ratio, and it is divided by 3 ratios. According to the 3.5 above, it shows the debt ratio. It shows the debt ratio of Franken Corporation Berhad. Franken Corporation Berhad shows an excellent performance in debt ratio, as their debt ratios will keep decreased. Even though the ratio was slightly increased in the year of 2017 with 28.02%, but the increase did not exceed 30.43% in 2015. Furthermore, regarding on the figure 3.6 above, it shows the debt equity ratio. The debt equity ratio of Franken's keep decline every year, but all of the years were not exceeding than 1. Thus, it shows that more funds provided by the owners. Last but not least, for the time interest earned, Franken Corporation Berhad shows a great result as it keep increase every year. Even though the ratio was dropped in 2019, but the ratio was still considered higher, as the ratio exceedingly more than ratio in 2015. Lastly, for profitability ratio, which you can refer on figure 3.7, is divided by 5 ratios, and all of the ratios will perform well on the periods due to all of the ratios increasing respectively. Now, we proceed to another point, which is horizontal analysis. Horizontal analysis consists of 5 companies. That is Franken, Pentamaster, Elsoft, MI Technovation Berhad, and Microlink Solution Berhad. Starting with liquidity ratio. For current ratio in the figure 4.1, among the 5 companies, the highest current ratio is by Elsoft Berhad, which 6.88 times. As for quick ratio, among the 5 companies, the highest quick ratio was Elsoft Berhad with 6.57 times. After that, in figure 4.2, Pentamaster have the best net working capital other than the 5 companies, which is 446, 241, 846 million ringgit. Moving on to the activity ratio, as you can refer in the figure 4.3, the highest inventory turnover among the 5 companies is Microlink, which is 14.13 times. Next, for fixed asset turnover, among the 5 companies, the highest was Microlink with 6.8 times. Besides that, for total asset turnover, among the 5 companies, the best one was from Microlink, which is 1.35 times. Last but not least, for the average collection period, which on figure 4.4 was the lowest among the 5 companies, which is Pentamaster with 60 days. Now, we continue to the next slide, which leverage ratio. First of all, for the debt ratio, the lowest is the better for debt ratio. The lowest debt ratio among the 5 companies is also Berhad with 10.59%. Besides that, we go to debt to equity ratio in figure 4.6. Among the 5 companies, the lowest debt to equity ratio is 0.006 times, which means the company used RM 0.006 from their creditors for every 1 ringgit provided by the owner. Last but not least, for leverage ratio, is time interest earned. The highest was Pentamaster with 742.9 times. Now we're moving on to the last slide for horizontal analysis, which profitability ratio. Profitability consists of 5 ratios, and high in all of the 5 ratios are recommended. First of all, the highest among the 5 companies is MI Technovation, which is 48.62%. Furthermore, for operating profit, the highest from other companies was by Elsoft Berhad with 52.33%. As for net profit margin, Elsoft company was the highest, which was 50.68%. Next, for return on total asset, Pentamaster was the greater, as it the highest among the 5 companies with 17.77%. Last but not least, for profitability ratio, is return on common equity. The highest was from Pentamaster with 22%.
Moving on to the risk analysis, the purpose of this analysis is to focus on the estimation and assessment of the risk and return of Franken stock price over risk and return of KLCI. This may be a method to degrade not only the risk related with the company, but also its potential reward. Referring to the table, the expected return of Franken Corporation Berhad has the highest rate of return as 71.03% than its competitors Pentamaster, MI Tech, Elsoft, and Microlink by 59.52%, 40.18%, 31.72%, and 27.07% respectively. It was because the higher the return, the better for investor. Macroring have recorded the highest variance, which indicate the greater dispersion and uncertainty risk of investment, at 16.76%, followed by Pentamaster by 12.95%, Franker by 12.37%, and MI Tech by 8.24%, while Elsoft has the lowest variance recorded in the table as 4.7%. Based on standard deviation data in the table, Macrolink shows a good percent of standard deviation by 4.09%, while 2.17% was the lowest standard deviation belongs to Elsoft recorded in the table given. Then it followed by Pentamaster, Franken, and Mike with 3.5980%, 3.52%, and 2.87% respectively. Next, Franken has the lowest investment risk coefficient of variation than the other companies by 12.09. Meanwhile, Microlink is 37.11, which the company has the better risk investment than Franken, followed by the Elsoft by 16.7, Pentamaster by 14.76, and Mike by 13.43. Subsequently to regression analysis, the table shows the regression analysis of the Franken, Pentamaster, MI Tech, Elsoft, and Microlink from 2015 to 2019. Beta, also known as the systematic risk of security. The low risk market can tell if the beta is less than 1 and vice versa. The table shows that MI and Microlink are low risk because the beta is less than 1. The other three companies are risky because their beta is more than 1. Microlink is more volatile than Franken, Elsoft, MyTech, and Pentamaster. Rate of return: if there is a positive return, it means investor gains profit and vice versa. Based on the table, Franken recorded 71.03% ROR, which is the highest gain between the others company. Last but not least is risk-free risk. Based on the data from risk premium recorded in December 2019 in 3.32%, it is important to identify the market risk premium because it is part of the CAPM formula. Next, security market line. Security market line will consider the risk-free rate and how volatility in companies' beta will affect the return. The security market line also can be used to determine whether an asset is undervalued or overvalued. The risk-free rate is 3.32%, and the return for market KLCI is 7.11%, and while required rate of return for Franken is 9.29%, PMAS is 7.84%, my required rate of return is 5.19%, Elsoft Research Berhad with 7.11%. Franken has a higher beta among the other competitors as 1.6 and has a higher expected return as 71.03%, followed by Pentamaster beta as 1.2, Elsoft beta 1.001, Microlink beta is 0.7607, and Mike beta is 0.5021, with expected return as 59.52%, 31.72%, 27.07%, 59.52% respectively. Beta is a measure of volatility compared to the market as a whole. Franken with 1.6 beta along with Pentamaster as 1.2 is higher than beta market itself. This represents a riskier asset than the market KLCI. It is in line with the general financial theory of higher risk and higher return. On the other hand, Mike and Microlink are stocks with low beta, which is less than market beta and represent as a less risky asset than the market. Graphically, as we can see, Franken, Pentamaster, Elsoft, Mike, and Microlink are undervalued assets since the asset plotted above the security market line and it gives a larger return than the market itself.
Last segment for financial analysis is intrinsic value. Based on the data above, it shows that these 5 companies, Franken Corporation Berhad, MI Technovation Berhad, Elsoft Research Berhad, Pentamaster Corporation Berhad, and Microlink Solutions Berhad are undervalued, where the rate of return is lower than the expected return, which make them a great investment. As a consequence, it shows that all these 5 companies' earning history is stable and the company is also sells at a price below its tangible asset value.
Okay, that's all for financial part. Let's move to the trend analysis part, which is company versus KLCI. Here, the graph shows the price movement between Franken, which represents by red line here, while the blue line is FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI for the past 4 years, from 1st January 2017 until 31st December 2020. The price movement of both Franken and KLCI on early January 2017, the prices was begun with a positive move, where both prices show a steady increase. However, in May 2017, the price of Franken begins to increase from month to month, producing record peaks and new records in 2018, 2019, and January 2020, respectively. The rise in 2017 was because Franken Group started to pay dividends in 2017 as they want to reward their shareholder. However, Franken price makes its first peak in January 2020 and started to sloping down until April 2020, and this also same goes to FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI. The downtrend shows an oversupply of shares with decline by interest resulting in dip in prices. Franken and FTSE Bursa Malaysia prices then started to rise in April and making new highs until the end of December 2020. However, there was a downward trend in August to October 2020. The main point to clarify here is the dramatic fall as we can see on the graph in March 2020. The dip in March was because the impact of COVID-19 towards Malaysian stock market and particularly all economic sectors in Malaysia, including technology sector, as government mentioned to disrupt the import and export activities for affected countries. We can conclude that Franken can make and gain profit and losses on their own due to the company products are served to oil and gas companies and industrial, either FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI movement bearish or bullish in market. Thus, Franken Corporation Berhad is outperformed. Okay, let's move on to the company versus competitors. The graph indicates the price movement for 4 years between Franken, red line, and its competitors, which are Pentamaster, purple line, Mitech, yellow line, Elsoft, light blue line, and Micron, orange line. From January 2017 until March 2017, all price movement of competitors' company were parallel. In 2018, Franken and Pentamaster both slightly dropped down until met its lowest in April. The Franken saw its price and peak at the same level of price as Pentamaster in October. The movement of Franken and Pentamaster significantly fell to early January 2019, but then the movement boomed for both of the company until March 2020, where the price was leading by Franken, followed by Pentamaster, while Elsoft remained steady in early 2018 and increased steeply in late August until November 2018. The price movement then slowly to drop day by day in November until March 2020. Mitech has rose and fell, an upside down price movement where it started to increase from July and slowly sloping down in November until late August and steadily rose until March 2020. In March 2020, Franken, Elsoft, and Mitech have experienced a major dip, but then the price escalated rapidly for both Franken and Pentamaster and met its peak in September and remained unchanged until the end of December. While Mitech movement went up gradually until the end of December of 2020, led by Franken and followed by Pentamaster. This pattern same goes to Elsoft, but the company only slightly increased from April to middle of May and maintained the same level afterwards until December. On the other hand, Micron movement totally contradict from the others where in late 2017, the price continuously fell down until November 2019 and slowly climbed up to March 2020. From then, the price almost leveled out at the same price level until the end of December 2020. Referring to the graph, Franken is the most competitive stocks compared to their competitors. Okay, we will move on to the support and resistance. Support and resistance of Franken Corporation Berhad in the year of 2020. The last share price reached on 31st December 2020 was RM3 ringgit 66 cent. Meanwhile, the opening share price on 1st January was RM2 ringgit 31 cent. It means Franken will show remarkable performance during the year due to the share price was increased. As you can see in the figure above, Franken touched the support line numerous times. The lowest support line was in the end of February to the mid of March 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic and it giving a huge impact on the country's economy. Furthermore, in the early of April, Franken were begun to reach another support line. The function of support line is to avoid any drop in stock prices as the prices went upward, and it means Franken was bearish at this time. At this point, the buyer will likely to buy due to the price of stock decline. However, it contrasts with seller. In addition, Franken will break the support line again in end of the March 2020. After that, In 18 August 2020, the share price hit another support line at the price of RM3.52. However, during the same month, it also reached the resistance line on 24 August 2020. To be concluded, although Franken will break the support line several times, but as a whole, Franken will maintain to bullish throughout the year. Also, it indicates that Franken's stock price has the possibility to climb up again on next year. This is because the COVID-19 vaccine has been widely invented, and it gives good news to all companies, as this shows that companies can operate the business as usual. Okay, that's all for support and resistance part.
Then we're moving on to the indicator. The first indicator is simple moving average. Simple moving average is the average of selected price range. Usually the closing price is calculated by the number of trades in that range. Next indicator is moving average convergent divergence, or known as MACD. MACD is a trend following momentum indicator that indicates the relationship between two moving average of the price of a security. Furthermore is relative strength index, or known as RSI. RSI is a momentum indicator used in technical analysis that measure the magnitude of recent price change to evaluate overbought or oversold condition in the price of stock. Moreover is rate of change, or known as ROC. ROC indicator measure the percentage change of the current price as compared to the price certain number of period ago. ROC is an escalator that fluctuates above and below the zero line. When the price rise, the ROC move up, and when the price decline, the ROC falls. Last but not least is oscillator Williams R indicator. The indicator defined as momentum in measuring the overbought and oversold level of stock. It's compared the close to the high-low range of stock over a certain period of time, which usually 14 days. Now we're moving on to analysis of indicator for Franken chart, where we measure it for two terms, which is short term and intermediate terms. For short term, we measure it for 3 weeks, and for intermediate, we measure it for 3 months. Started with the short term analysis, where for the simple moving average indicator, it shows a buy signal in the mid-December when the green candlelight stick closing price crossed the simple moving average line, but no sell signal is shown during this 3-week term. Next is the analysis of MACD, where it shows a buy signal when the MACD cross above the line signal and MACD turn below zero. Same as SMA, there is no sell signal during this 3-week term. Moreover, is relative strength indicator. During this 3 week, the RSI did not show any signal of buy and sell, as it did not go above the 70 of overbought line and below 30 of oversold line. Moving on to the rate of change indicator, during the short term, the ROC show the overbought signal occur at the beginning of December, when ROC is moving above zero, which seems to investor as a selling signal. Then in early till mid-December, an oversold signal occur, which shown at the arrow in the slide. This means the investor are more open to buy as it show a buying opportunity. Lastly, for short-term analysis is oscillator Williams R indicator. By the graph, can be seen that between 23rd December and 28th December, the indicator show a sell signal, as the indicator had shown that it had been above overbought range for a couple of few days, and it had crossed below the line of -20. Now we go to intermediate term analysis, which we measured for 3 months. The SMA for intermediate term showed that there a buy signal occur at early December and mid-December as the price go uptrend, and the candlelight stick close price has crossed the simple moving average line. And a sell signal occur at early November as when the price moving uptrend and the simple moving average is below the price. As for MACD, the indicator show a sell signal in early November as the MACD crosses below the line signal, and MACD indicator turned up above zero. Then in early December and at the end of December, the indicator show a buy signal as the MACD crosses above the signal line and MACD indicator turned down below zero. Then we're moving on to RSI. During the 3-month term, the RSI only show an oversold signal at the mid-November as the RSI dropped below 30 of oversold line. This become a buying opportunity to investor as the price of the asset become undervalued. Next is ROC. During this intermediate term, there are overbought signal occur as in the middle of October and early of December. The indicator has shown the overbought signal when ROC is moving above zero. There are also oversold signal occur in the end of October and in early December until mid of December, where ROC value is less than zero. Last but not least is oscillator Williams R indicator. This indicator had indicated the first selling signal on 20 October 2020, as it had been in overbought sector and it has crossed below the -20 line, which indicate a sell signal. As for buying signal on 30 October 2020, the indicator had shown the buy signal as it had been in the oversold sector and it has crossed above the -80 line, which means a buy signal.
Alright, that's all from us. Thank you to our panel, Saus Nizam and Cik Maizura. Assalamualaikum and thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.